Israel's army is fighting on multiple fronts. Its reservists are exhausted. And now, behind closed doors, the country's top general is warning lawmakers that the military is running out of soldiers. The solution on the table? Longer service, expanded draft laws, and forcing one of Israel's most politically protected communities into uniform. A military stretched across multiple battlefronts, reserve forces under growing pressure, and Israel's top commander now issuing an urgent warning behind closed doors. As regional tensions continue to intensify, the Israeli military says it is running out of manpower and demanding immediate action from lawmakers. Israeli military chief Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir has reportedly warned members of the Knesset that the military urgently needs more soldiers as Israel continues operations across several fronts in the region. Speaking to lawmakers on May 10th in a closed-door session, the Israeli military chief stressed that the army's focus remains on ongoing military operations rather than political debates.
I'm not dealing with political or legislative processes. I am dealing with multi-front warfare and defeating the enemy. In order to continue to do that, the IDF needs more soldiers immediately.
The warning comes as Israel continues military operations across multiple regional theaters. The Israeli military has recently been involved in direct confrontation with Iran, while also carrying out continued strikes in Lebanon, despite an existing ceasefire agreement. Israel has also conducted sporadic operations in Syria and Iraq under various security justifications. According to reports, Zamir urged lawmakers to advance legislation in 3 key areas to address the growing manpower shortage. The first proposal involves extending mandatory military service for men to 36 months. Mandatory service had previously been reduced from 32 months to 30 months in August 2024. Zamir reportedly warned that the shorter service period would place what he described as an unreasonable burden on reserve forces, especially amid escalating regional tensions and continuing security threats. Reports also noted that the first group enlisted under the shortened service structure is scheduled to complete service in January 2027, potentially worsening the Army's personnel shortages unless the law is amended. The second proposal focused on changes to Israel's reserve duty laws, allowing the military to mobilize reservists for longer operational periods depending on battlefield requirements. The third area centered on expanding overall military recruitment, particularly among Israel's ultra-Orthodox or Haredi community. The issue of Haredi military exemptions remains one of the most politically sensitive debates inside Israel. Many ultra-Orthodox Jewish students currently receive exemptions from military service on the basis of religious study. According to reports, Zamir declined to publicly comment during the committee session on a proposed Haredi conscription law currently being debated by lawmakers. The proposed legislation would continue allowing exemptions for full-time yeshiva students while aiming to increase military recruitment among those no longer engaged in religious study. Reports also suggest the draft legislation removes several enforcement mechanisms included in earlier versions, including checks designed to confirm active religious study and penalties for draft evasion after the age of 26. This is not the first time Zamir has raised concerns over military manpower. As Israel remains engaged across several active fronts in the region, pressure is now mounting on lawmakers to address the military's growing personnel crisis before operational strain deepens even further. More than 2 years have passed since October 7, 2023. The wounds are still raw, questions remain unanswered, and the man at the top of Israel's government is still, methodically, refusing to face them. Who was responsible for the security collapse that allowed Hamas to launch the deadliest attack in Israeli history? 11 weeks into a war he helped start, Benjamin Netanyahu sat down with CBS correspondent Major Garrett for his first American broadcast interview since the fighting began. He eerily composed and was careful with his words. And when the subject turned to culpability, Bibi did something telling. He questioned the very idea of responsibility. Those who said they took responsibility, he told Major Garrett, left him wondering, what does that mean, you know? What is their responsibility?
Let's look at the political echelon, military echelon, the security echelon. Let's look down at everyone, and everybody bears some responsibility. Yeah, from the top, from the Prime Minister down.
He then redirected, insisting the more pressing question was what had been done since October 7th, 2023, not what preceded it. In his telling, his leadership of the war across 7 fronts is where his account should be judged. But the question of what preceded that day has not gone away. Israel still has no formal state inquiry into how the attack happened. Netanyahu has offered a politically appointed commission in place of a state commission of inquiry. A consistent majority of Israelis, including many of his own voters, want the latter. He backed exactly such an inquiry into the previous government in 2022. That was then. His answer now is that the war comes first. The war, of course, is also his.
I don't claim perfect foresight, and nobody had perfect foresight. Neither did the Iranians. We both agreed that there was uncertainty and risk involved.
What he disputed was not that he had underestimated Iran's willingness to weaponize the strait, but that he had presented the outcome as certain. He said both he and President Trump had acknowledged uncertainty and risk going in. Trump's own framing, as Netanyahu recalled it, was that there is danger in action, but greater danger in inaction. On whether the Iranian regime itself could be toppled, Netanyahu was similarly hedged. He rejected a New York Times report that he had told the Situation Room in February that a joint US-Israeli operation could collapse the Islamic Republic, calling it incorrect in degree rather than in kind. He said the possibility exists, but the guarantee does not, comparing the regime's potential trajectory to a bankruptcy that proceeds gradually before it suddenly falls. The Israeli Prime Minister said he wants to gradually reduce American financial support to zero over the next decade, a major shift in one of the closest alliances in the world. Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel should begin ending its dependence on US military aid.
I want to draw down to zero the American financial support. We do not want to wait for a future Congress, and Israel should start reducing dependence now.
That image of a slow unraveling suits the current moment. The war he helped launch has not ended. Iran is still firing, the strait is still blocked. And the man who sold the plan is now explaining carefully why nobody could have seen all of this coming.